What is up, Valorant fans? Welcome back to the Valorant Report. My IHOLDSHIFT with you guys, talking about our championship bracket, our final 4 teams from the T1 and Nerdstream Gamers Ignition Series. Showcase, Showdown, Invitational. What were we calling it? I don't actually remember. Anywho, let's get back into this one because it is just the final 4 squads. The weird thing about this was, again, the losers bracket in its entirety was best of ones, which felt a little bad, and you're going to see a little bit more why when we take a look back at this bracket. Here is what it was for the final 4 teams. Out of the winners finals, it would be TSM going up against T1 Esports. In the losers semis, Immortals would play up against Faze Clan. All 4 squads had looked very good throughout their group play time and as well throughout their time getting through the early stages of the bracket on Saturday. But we'll start things off with the best of 3 up top. TSM would be able to find a way to take maps 2 and 3 from T1 after they suffered a 7-13 loss on Ascent, where Food honestly played out of his mind for T1. He was 23-16 at the end, but from there on out, it was just all TSM all the time. 13-5 on Haven, and then a little bit of a closer affair on Split where it was 13-9, but TSM looking like by far one of the, if not the best teams in North America after this head-to-head matchup came through. It was contested, it was close for some moments, but for the most part, again, the edge you definitely gave the TSM by the end of it. The results obviously speak to that as well. In the losers semifinal, though, like you see there, Immortals and Faze Clan, a little bit of a time here as it was on Bind. 13-6 favors Immortal. Again, just a best of 1, and Gangsta looked incredible. The Mongolian monster looked absolutely insane. He went 23-8 on the map, essentially meaning that if you killed him, your chances of winning were about like 88% or something like that. But a really good performance from the entire Immortal squad. This was a team that I think expectations were a little bit all over the place. I think people had them at least finishing top 6, but I don't know how many people really had them finishing top 3 going into the weekend. And on the other side, for Faze Clan, you have to feel pretty content about how they played throughout the week. Again, mostly being a recently formed squad, it was kind of hard to get a reading as far as how well would this team fare. And a top 4 finish was definitely one to be proud of if you're Faze Clan, and definitely shows that with a little bit more playtime, these guys could potentially be in a grand finals before too long when it comes to using a tournament style like this with, I would say, mostly 10 of at least the top teams from North America. In our losers finals then, T1 would play up against Immortals, and this is where I really wish we could have seen a full best of 3. The map would be on to Split. Again, for T1, you just came off a loss versus TSM for it. Could you find ways to adjust? It was a bit cloudy, really kind of hard to tell initially, as Immortals were putting up one hell of a fight, but in the end, it would be T1 Esports finding the 13-10 win to get them back into the grand finals. I really wish we could have seen a best of 3 between these 2 squads. It would have been a really, really competitive match, I feel, all the way through, and I think with both teams getting a lot of experience throughout the entirety of the weekend, this would have been a really good match to showcase with a little bit more of an extended series. But regardless, T1, TSM, they'll be back in the finals for almost an instant rematch. TSM would get a 1-map advantage in this quote-unquote best of 5 series that was supposed to occur between them and T1, but they wouldn't need too much time to really determine that they were definitively the best team in North America. A 13-4 win on the Haven. It didn't look like T1 barely even showed up for that matchup. And then on Ascent, it was the Wardell show as he dropped 30 kills to go 13-9 for the squad to get themselves the quote-unquote 3-0 win. I guess I probably should stop saying 3-0 win. They got the given map win because they came out of winner's bracket. So they win the number 2, number 3 maps overall. They get the 3-0. They become your number 1 team in North America without question. And at this point, it really just comes down to, is Wardell potentially the best player in North America? I think there's some good argument that you can obviously say yes, mostly because of the performance he put on Ascent was absolutely nutty. But beyond that, the one thing that we're really going to be taking away from this TSM squad is that this is a full 5-man squad where everybody's able to participate. Even in those grand finals alone, you take a look at the stats from Haven, everybody over 11 kills. On Ascent, with the exception of Hazed, everybody over 10 kills. And there just weren't a lot of kills to go around because Wardell went 30-11. So it's just one of those things that, you know, you're not just looking at one player, kind of like Cloud9. You're looking at 10s. Can he carry that team right now? On TSM, anybody can pop off. And the same kind of conversation exists for T1, though, as well, as we've seen Food have great moments, we've had Skadoodle have great moments, Crashies, AZK, Brax. They've all played extremely well at different moments. It just comes down to, on this day, in this matchup, TSM looked more complete as a 5-man squad than T1 was able to put together, at least as of now. Again, this was such an early kind of showcase for all of these squads. Yes, a lot of them have gotten some experience playing in Twitch Rivals groups or playing in other invitationals or things like that, where they're either grouped up of 3 or more, but this is the first time we've really seen all of our top teams play up against one another. And we got a very good reading as far as who is up top and who has some work that still needs to be done, and maybe beyond that, who needs to make some potential roster changes if they want to compete at this level. That's going to do things for the recap here. Kind of more of just a, as it were, recap for you guys. But I hope to do more videos like this. Again, I'm hoping that I can maybe work alongside the Spike GG guys a little bit in order to maybe bring you guys out some rankings and some overall feedback for what it looks like as far as a top to bottom look at both North America and Europe, and maybe even beyond in Asia and things like that. So if you enjoy this style of video, please make sure you subscribe, ring that notification bell. And if you did like the video, make sure you go down and like the video. It does help out a lot with the algorithms and things like that. It helps me out a lot. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Until next time, hope you keep holding it down out there. Later. Bye-bye.